Are you joining?
Yeah, I'm joining.
Awesome.
Okay, I'll see you there.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Salman. Hi, Shilan.
Hello.
Hi, Sumitra. How is everybody doing today? Any plans, Sumitra, for the long 19th is a holiday for everybody, or no? Just I am having fun in life.
It is.
Awesome. Any plans? Can I expect more work from you guys then? Sorry, these are the people from our cohort, and we are finishing our PhDs. So just trying to be on the same page.
You're right, Mahesh. We'll be working on the PRDs.
Yeah. Any PhDs? Yeah. Okay. So what's the plan today? Thank you for joining. We're 2 minutes over. We can get started because we always go over time. I want to start on time so that we can discuss more ideas rather than just later on saying I need one more question, I need two more questions. We can have some time for Q&A. Mostly these sessions are generally designed in a way that Joanne is here. We need to talk to Joanne before we go anywhere. Joanne is the only person on the world who has taken. There are many others. I'm just gonna pick on Joanne today. Joanne has taken my course twice. It tells the world a very different story that I want to tell, or Shilan will tell in a second. Actually, thrice. Right, first time she couldn't take it, second time she actually took it, and third time when I revised the course, she took again. And I'm always humbled and always excited to have her
And
every time.
actually, can I add something to it? Because I think it's like very nice that way. I took the last course myself, and this course I can definitely tell you there's a lot of additions compared to the first course, so it's even better. And to tag on to that, like two quick announcements to make. One is our community discount will be closing on June 18th. So if some of you are interested, take advantage of the discount because I'm closing it out on the 18th. We already have people sign up. And the second thing is we have a very tight agenda today. Like Hamish is saying, like we not only want to show you how to like up level your strategic thinking, but also show you how to showcase your AI product portfolio, right? So we ask this audience, limit one question per person and try to let the other people ask questions and talk to. And so with that, I'll like hand it back to Mahesh and start the agenda.
Yeah, and I think one thing that would help us scale that way is please put your questions in chat. If we are short of questions, we will pick it up from there, or I will call out for you. So just put your questions in chat, and other people start answering each other question, because the idea is that if I'm talking, I can't answer, but if you are talking, I can start go and answering questions, because I think all of us are trying to learn from each other. So this is a more like peer-to-peer network. I think class was more like server to client network. If you don't understand this, nothing to do. You need not to learn that. So, okay, let's get started. What's the plan today? So today we have an amazing plan. The plan starts here. No, the plan doesn't start here. The plan starts here. So what are we gonna do? Oh, I didn't put an agenda. Okay, great. We're gonna talk about Apple WWDC, and we will have. I think most of the people are just sending their utter pilots to me. And I keep admitting them, and I feel like I get excited. I go there, I say who's coming, and then I see some utter pilot. I'm like, this is not fun. Anyways, please show up. If you're sending utter pilots, someday I will stop them. Anushil, it's such a good to see you all along. Thank you for joining. We'll talk about WDC, what my perspective is on the WDC and what your perspective is. That's the first 15-20 minutes. Then we will dive into something like how can you actually build your portfolio. Achint is here. We discussed it in the class for a quick time, but this time we'll discuss a little bit more. We'll take some questions. We'll see best practices across the community, and hopefully some of you can share your ideas, which we can take and eventually come up with a system which allows us to have apply what we have learned. And how can you do that? Because the biggest challenge with learning anything in life is you can't learn without doing, and nobody let you do unless you have learned that skill. So like I won't let my I read it. This is one of the few articles. Uh, People in India will relate to it. I was preparing for MBA. I thought MBA will change my life. I never did MBA, by the way. Just FYI. But I was preparing for it, and they recommended me this newspaper called Hindu. Had a lot of writing in it. Amazing writers. I loved. That's the only piece I loved about that whole episode of me preparing for MBA. And there was an article like the cost as a society we pay to train people. And specifically, I remembered, and this is like some 30, 20, 25. I'm pretty old. So what I remembered that it is a very amazing process on how you how much compromises as a society we make training these like doctors, and the cost of failure. And they do make all these like failures, but without apprenticeship they can't learn. And same applies to us, which is like as product managers there's no real like, we can tell you like the basics building blocks, but unless you bring them, apply them to different circumstances, that's how you learn. So that's the cost of failure, and the more cost you have paid, the better product manager you become. uh, that's the only way I have learned product management, and I will tell you some of those techniques. So that's the second half. That's the agenda for today. We'll start with WDC if Shilan permits me. Shilan is like the police these days. So we all have to like just beg her to just make sure I'm doing the right thing. So okay, a lot of announcements. Apple stocks are up. Everybody's feeling happy about Apple. Anybody who watched WWDC, anything you have to say? And this is more sharing. Questions are different than sharing. Anything stood out for you? This is Apple WWDC event, and they said it's AI. It's Apple intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence. It's Apple intelligence. So, what is the advantage Apple has in this ecosystem? Mostly, we talk about ecosystems. What is unique strength of Apple? Anyone? Like we did it for Microsoft, right?
Sam has his hand up, so
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's distribution and the user base through the phones. And if you're looking at personalization, your phone has a lot of data about you. So Apple can use that to sort of bake in the Gen AI capabilities.
Yeah, they are the hardware design, right? They have the mind share of the customer in hardware design. They think everybody think they are the best hardware design companies, ready to pay them a premium price for hardware, they have that hardware, and the hardware has the data, and that cycle is working for them. People pay a 1000x for their products, and that's working. Another thing that's working for them, anything else that's working for them? I means they build amazing hardware, and they, even
Hamesh,
if
you
they are the
you
launch.
switch the blackboard, like nobody can see the blackboard.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Apple, and did so this advantage of hardware gives them on AI this advantage of data. So great job. Anything else they have which gives them an advantage on AI? I'm just looking from AI perspective, what is working for them. So they do have data, on device data. They have very high privacy standards, so they don't have like mined data, but continue to say that we have that other data. Okay. Anything else that they have?
Loyal user
Broadly,
base.
we are cutting a means we are cutting very broadly data about every person, like how is not a small thing. But anything else, like some feedback loops they have in their product, which is a user base. They can understand customer patterns much faster than anybody else, right? So how people will use a technology, that's the other mode you can build with AI, because you can start taking the feedback before your customer does. And if you have feedback loops before anybody else, and if you can run the experiments on scale or run evals on scale, you can improve on accuracy and give a very out of box magic experience, right? So first you look at data, second you look at, hey, do I have what kind of feedback loops, or how can I scale or go faster from AI cycle? So these two are really good. They have those. Anything else that's working for them? Are they going in AR, VR, and that's where the new fight for multimodality will work? And they kind of have that landscape also. So new worlds, whenever they create it, they will be part of it, and they will have access, or they will have kind of a way to get access to those kind of data as well. So what's new also, like that section also, they have this AR, VR advantage there, right? Because they launched their product and now they can understand. What's not working for them? Yeah, it's not success, Harsha. I agree. It's not. It was not a successful product, but I think the good part about still about this is that you can have. They do have the mind share. So nobody is successful in AR VR space from hardware perspective. Success means like I have the majority markets here. It's a new thing, so that's why I put it here. And if it is a new thing, then uh, if anybody launches that, their experiences seems like people are catching up. So the projection is that whenever this materializes, they at least are gonna play that game and will go ahead in time. Means I don't know anybody who has an awesome AR VR headset which works. Works means I can actually go and watch a movie and feel amazing about it, or I can open my screen and start doing my work. These two killer use cases seems like they nailed down, or at least want to nail down. So that's where I'm coming from. Okay, what's not working for Apple for the last at least couple of months, couple of years? No AI, right?
Do they have their own LLMs? No, they don't have their own foundational models.
No foundation models.
Or
Like they have not contributed anything to the AI race, right? They have not contributed chips. They are a chip company also. So they have not launched any AI specific chips. They have not launched any AI specific. They open sourced a model, but nobody like nowhere compared to where Facebook Llama ecosystem is, or even you know Gamma ecosystem is. Oh, they are like they offer very niche things, and nobody looks up to them as an AI leader. So that's not working, right? And they didn't care, but somehow they need to care eventually, and maybe this is the time, or this session or this year was the time that actually Apple thought otherwise. Apple was thinking, we are a hardware company, we can build awesome hardware with a great design and experiences on apps. It's a tool we will use, but why should pivot? Okay, any other thing that's not working for Apple?
Joanne has an interesting input about what's not working.
Go ahead,
Joanne.
Joanne.
just dropped a couple things in the chat. So I was just saying, like, Siri is something they are at least scrutinized for and have been for the last several years. It doesn't work to user expectations, at least.
This is a great insight, right? Thank you, Shilan, for bringing it up, and thank you, Joanne, for sharing it. Uh, Siri doesn't work, and Siri doesn't work. That means the next level of human-computer interface doesn't work. Remember, Apple was so cool because they actually made touch so useful. Touch was there, right? We had touch screen-based phones before Apple arrived to this scene, but they actually made it useful. I remember this cool guy who I may have spoken about. He works for Apple now, but we both used to work for this company, and he bought the first Apple iPhone, and we were sitting outside. He used to smoke, so went outside, and he was checking one of the servers on his phone using VNC. He logged into that. There was an app, and then he actually restarted one of the machines from the screen with a click or with a touching the screen, and I just felt magic. That's the kind of things that they made possible in human computer interface, that touch one. And what's the new computer human computer interface? It's like, first is like English, and second is, can I talk to it? Because mostly people are talking, right? You saw what OpenAI did in their session. Yeah, just give me 1 second. I will close the door and come back. Okay, so this is not working. The new computer interface, which is Alexa, showed that it should be voice. They have an assistant. Alexa works. I think Siri was before Alexa. I don't remember exactly. I hated both of them equally. So uh, I think that's not working. Anything else that's not working? I
I
was
think
not actually.
Harsha has some interesting perspective. Harsha, you want to share?
Harsha, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Chilan. So I think some of the things that are not working, and I'm adding some perspective being an ex-Apple employee also. The pricing
Oh,
strategy,
good one. I forgot that.
I think
Sorry,
the
I love Apple.
yeah, lately, I think two things that have not worked is the pricing strategy is a mystery. So I'm not sure how they come up with new the pricing for new products and services. So it backfired, especially for Apple Vision Pro. $4,000 is a huge amount of money for the device. And the second thing is they spend a lot of money on startup acquisitions, including a lot of startups that are supposed to have enhanced Siri and Siri's capabilities, but somehow it is not coming through. So it seems like they are dependent on, integrating it with OpenAI or Google Gemini or some things like that. So it's a little bit of a mystery. What happens with those startups? Are they just killing the technology, or they just want to, bring cool new features? So it's not very clear.
It's a very good point that you brought. It's an insight, which is hard to integrate outside tech inside, right? That's what we have not seen Apple do successfully, have we? Right. I think the first point was like pricing is, some people can have their own opinion. Do you know why Apple goes and tries? Anybody in our class?
Well, I think they have integrated technology. Like the touchscreen was a company they bought, and they've bought companies that, like, for their core technology, they just have an integrated business as well.
I see. So you are saying touch is an example which is an anti-pattern to the Siri example, where they bought a company and actually made it work. And touch was awesome. Like, I loved like Apple iPhone. Before that, touch was like kind of walky. Like it will start playing music while in my car. It's that sensitivity, or I have to tap 3 times to get anything done. It's that sensitivity. Apple just was right. It didn't touch itself, or and I could actually use it. That's the bar I had at that point, and it met that bar. So good example. Good insights both ways. Uh, and what's new? We got that. So with that, right, one thing I wanted to talk, because pricing came up. Why we discussed it a little bit today. Like, why can Apple just come up with their price and still people are willing to pay? What they think about pricing? Do they think that they come up with pricing like what people will perceive them as premium? and what's the highest they are willing to pay here, and then they go one level, like maybe put $500 on top of it, and that's how they price their product. Maybe a lesson I can learn, maybe Shilan and me can learn that and price our course. But one day, okay. Till
Course.
then, we'll continue. But that's because there is nobody competes with them, right? Once you have such a dominance on hardware design, I don't think anybody comes close to hardware design. No matter people can claim whatever they want to claim about Vision Pro, but if you look at the product, I went to the Apple store and I saw people just wearing outside, and it was not possible with the HoloLens, which Microsoft released in 2016, and neither with Meta VR device. I won't take it outside. But they make it look so, like they spend so much time in design that their product looks like people want to just market it for them by using or like wearing that thing. I was like, why are you wearing it outside the store? But people felt they look cool in that. So that I think is the advantage, or that's what their moat is, and they use that for pricing their products. Coming back, what happens here is AI Copilot for everything. So how can they solve this? So every time you create a strategy, you think like, hey, how can I use more of what I have and build continuously for what is working for me? And then you pick some of these battles that you want to go after, right? And some you want to kill. So they killed the car project. I think that's what was not working also, that there was another person on the other side which said, I can also build cooler experiences than you, and I can design products better than you. And here is a car that basically drives itself almost, and it is the coolest car, and it is targeted to premium customers. So I'm going after the same mind share. And Apple was trying to say, I can build the car too. But they decided not to play here, but play here, right? That's the kind of announcement we saw. So we saw that they are pivoting and saying, hey, now you have a co-pilot, and every use case which a co-pilot does today for enterprise, they are ready to do for any user who has an iPhone in their pocket. So they are ready to summarize, they are ready to tone check, they are ready to rewrite your emails, all that for free, if you bought a premium product called Apple. New phones, by the way, 15 onwards, not backwards. So that I think is the exciting piece that I saw. You saw something about chips. So that was also not working, right? They're not known for AI chips or building AI chips which scales. Uh, they have built like neural network processors, and I'm not expert in like. I think I should get one of my friend Ankur here, who is expert in chips. But seems like A17 chip is the new thing that they are bringing, and M1 is, if you have M1 chips on your already on your devices, you are good to go. So think of them iterating on this more than they're a hardware company. So we saw announcement on building an M1 chip. So what's your strategy? Start with the chip A17 or M1. So that's the number one piece they are going after, which is like, hey, let's at least get the chip right, which took them like couple of months, couple of years anyways. And hopefully they have not got it right in the first turn. So at least they are saying we're gonna play there. Now, once you have the chip, they are going after the first use case of which is working in AI, which is, hey, I have the chip. What's the next use case that's working, Garima? Garima is like, I'm driving, Mahesh. I'm eating food. I'm not here. So a co-pilot for customers, that's the use case they are going after. A lot of scenarios we have seen. Then Siri, Siri got an upgrade, and first time you're seeing they are going to cloud also, right? So they can take whatever conversation you are making with Siri. Siri used to run on device. Now Siri, I don't know Siri used to run on device or not, but at least they are going to cloud, and they're also going to somebody's else model, which Apple has not done before. Why will you do something drastic like this, which is not your philosophy? Have you seen Apple sharing data with anybody? Their customer, their primary app, backed by somebody else model ever? Yeah, go ahead, Sham.
No, I was wondering this partnership with OpenAI and ChatGPT, right? So, like from their perspective, I felt that that is the only way they could get these features and capabilities. And I feel OpenAI wants to, it's betting on the fact that LLM is going to be commoditized. So they just want more adoption and user base. And I feel it's a perfect match with Apple because through their phones, they can get more subscribers and get some user share out of that. So I was just wondering if you can comment more on that because I feel Apple couldn't have gone to Gemini or Claude or etc. and OpenAI ChatGPT made perfect sense to integrate
This is a
into.
very good one, but this board was super cool. I didn't want it to delete it, but I think it's worth deleting now. So we'll continue to evolve the announcements. But Sham, you brought very good insights and good question, which is if I have to choose models, what choices I have and where will I choose it? You are the product manager in Apple, trying to figure out whose the model should I use. What are my choices? Just keep saying, guys. Don't raise your hand. Just keep saying. OpenAI, who else can I get a model from? Keep saying whatever comes to your head.
Llama.
Meta,
Meta, Google, and Claude, Anthropic.
Anthropic. Maybe Mistral? Just put it for the fun. Let's stop there, maybe. I have everything. Why would I not take Google? Build your own also. Why would I not
Google
take
has
Google?
privacy issues, right? People don't rely much.
Privacy issue. They care about privacy. Does OpenAI is like the home? I think direct
Uh,
competition. Like they go head on Android, on phone, biggest, largest market share. Both of them are competing for the same. So direct competition in the market they play with. This is out. Why not Meta?
Same reason.
I think the privacy one. That's the Chitali said it, but more concerned about Meta on privacy because they don't want to have a seat on table where they have a dependency on Meta on something because they have continuously tried to leverage their advantage as a hardware, premium hardware market share to kill Meta's advancements wherever they can. So the privacy laws, the way we will not let you track, all those were deterrent for that Apple has, and there is no seat on table for Meta to negotiate with them. Meta can say that I'm going to take Facebook away from Apple devices. But if they give something that niche as Apple Intelligence to them, they will have a seat on table and they start negotiating on wherever they have a value on privacy. So it's obviously applies to both, but Meta may be that. What about Anthropic? So we're left with two players. Final, OpenAI versus Anthropic. Why would they go after OpenAI and not
Anthropic
Anthropic?
models are a bit more pricier than OpenAI. I mean, price point
Oh,
comparison,
Chitali, I
or
won't go there.
not very
They
I won't
closely
go
they
there.
have
available.
Chitali, I'm
they have a
Apple.
bigger
One
user
is
base,
very
right? OpenAI has more users. So
OpenAI has your users, and what more users gives you?
I mean more data so they can
Large
basically
market share.
OpenAI has more users, more data, and what can with more data they do? They can
train
continue to
train
build the largest, biggest, most
train their
accurate
model.
model. You're trying to make a bet, right? You're trying to say this or this, and then you're looking at, and pricing is like, I would think pricing, but I won't think pricing if I'm Apple, because as a product manager in Apple, first I can let them negotiate till the end, and second side, I have such a big margin in my hardware business that if I have to go build something, I want to give the best, the premium experience of accuracy. And eventually then the fight came, their use cases, one model after another. They might have done some eval, and whoever won the eval, and or the chances of winning that eval in future. And that's how the winner was decided. Now the choice is OpenAI versus build your own. Why would I not do other, or why would I do other? Any clues?
Well, I think it may take you a while to build your own. And so if you can use an outside model underlying, and then you can always switch it out.
Yeah, so the quality is such a crap, right? If you start building now, it's not something you can just, it's not, they don't take their users data and train models on that. So that's the philosophy they had. They can't change that philosophy. So train a model, you need data. They don't have that advantage. They can start having now by making an agreement with OpenAI, saying if it goes now, I also need have a common shared pool and then start training on that. But they never had that advantage. So if they don't have the advantage, building your own becomes a challenge, right? So data, they have on-device data, but they don't have free cloud data that they can go after, like Google might have, or Meta has, like Llama had that advantage, or anybody like Databricks had that advantage for enterprise. They didn't have that. Second is, if you're behind building an accurate model and building a lab around or getting the mind share of the best researchers, if I'm the best researcher, I have not seen Apple do anything in AI for 10 years. Why would I go work for Apple? I'm a Stanford out researcher. I will go to OpenAI. I will go to Anthropic. I will might join Google DeepMind. I won't die there, right? So that mind share doesn't exist for them. And that's what
Mahesh,
it takes.
Mahesh, I mean, it seems a little ironic that Apple didn't know about all that's happening in LLM space, right? So, I mean,
Didn't
when
know.
yeah, I mean, Apple is supposed to be at the forefront, like it's defining the tech landscape for almost everyone out there in the world, along with Google's and Amazon's of the world. But it seems, I'm in disbelief with respect to not like Apple not being there in the LLM space, and it has to go out and seek OpenAI support to integrate their model. I mean, this is a little surprising.
Stop using them, man. No, no. Yeah, good point, Achint. I think Sham wants to address and then Harsha.
No, I have the contrary view. I feel they knew this and they knew they were betting on the fact that this is going to be commoditized and their moat is their phone and the user base. So I think they're
Yeah.
playing it very smart. That's the way I think about it.
And I personally have not seen them, but Harsha, go ahead before I give my views, because then
Uh,
Harsha might be biased.
I kind of agree with Shyam. I think it's counterintuitive to strategy because they don't want to fail early. Now, the thing with the new
They've
AI,
never done that. Yeah.
yeah, new
They're
AI,
never the first mover. They don't play on first mover advantage.
correct. So they would like to see what else is doing, where everybody else is slipping up and failing, and try and introduce that innovation into this thing, which is very surprising because it's contrary to the early philosophy and innovation, in the times of Steve Jobs and things like that, where they were, very, very prone to go to very new areas and introduce some, movers. So I think something has changed in the business strategy, and they're very
You
risk
left.
averse.
That's what changed.
I'm sorry?
You left. That's what changed. Galia, go ahead.
I was just gonna
Good to see
add
you, my
on the
dear.
same lines that like if we remember when the first iPhone came out, it had Google Maps and like it had a lot of reliance on other companies. But then Apple came out and they came out with their own their own applications of that. So it might be that's what they're doing now. They're trying it out with someone else and then they're, we don't know what they're working on.
No, 100% agree, right? I wanted to
Yeah.
hear that. I had it in my mind. But I have one more thing that I want to land, but Chitali, go ahead.
Basically, Apple, even if they are using OpenAI, say they are using 5.3 or they are using some that 1-bit LLMs for their mobile devices or their hardware devices in forms of watches or something like specs. I mean, all the smart devices, what they can bring, like even the CarPlay. Having the LLMs, even they are late, like coming late into this, not building their own LLMs, but reusing what others are building and then modifying it according to their advantage, what iPhones or iPads can derive in forms of smaller models. that can also be a game changer, right? Because they have a major customer share in that. And having a large LLM running in a server, data going out, data going in, those kind of things can also be catered to. And even Siri can get the advantage.
Yeah. So you're saying building for edge, they still have a
Yeah,
moat, and you are
yeah,
negating the fact that they are not innovating. You're saying for 2 years they were innovating to make sure that they can fit the largest, biggest model to a smallest device and actually give the kind of latency that's expected to run really complex scenarios. That's where they innovate, and that's where they were focused. They were not focused on building the largest, biggest model, and hopefully that strategy continues to pan out, where they will let the world go and build the largest, biggest model,
yeah,
and they will continue to innovate on the fact that how can I take this large model and convert or quantize it into something that actually can run on
exactly,
device and make
exactly.
it happen.
And they have
No,
some
that's a
game changers in healthcare devices also, right? The watches and all. So those
correct.
can also leverage the data being secure and sometimes offline usage.
So I think they can continue having that mode. Galia also brought a good point, and Harsha good point too, which is like kind of insight. And Galia brought a point that when you are put into corner, the strategy of waiting sometimes doesn't play out very well. AI is such a desperate state now. So instead of waiting for 2 more years to build something of on, they are saying there's no harm us taking OpenAI right now. We can always go build ours and replace them. People are not going to buy phones because it has Chat GPT in them, because they have their phones, and we can always behind the scenes run Siri on something else or provide these experiences with our models, and people won't care where the summary is coming from till the summary is high quality. Same, I don't care about maps. If there is like, if it can take me from A to B, I will continue to have it, and they will always have the first preference by preloading those apps with their services, right? So that's another good insight. So I think most of the you are like on the same, like you shared everything, and now I forgot what I wanted to talk about, so we'll continue. Galia, I think you will need to your hand is raised. So they said that they're not going to build their model, but they are going to take the model from OpenAI, and mostly because they are late. And when you are late, you don't get to choose a lot of things. Sometimes you can just play it out, like AR, they played it out for like 4 or 5 years and eventually launched something of their own because the customers were not desperate. In AI, the customers are desperate. Samsung is launching everything which is saying AI, AI. Google is saying AI, AI. And before it becomes such a threat and market starts shifting and making preferences on premium segment just because of AI, they wanted to be there. And then they were left with two choices, and they chose to go with this choice. Chaitali is saying maybe that's the strategy. I differ. I think it's just because they did not anticipated it to catch up this fast, and in a year this is the best they could do. I want to go with Galia that eventually there will be a world where they will have their own big large model too, and they would like to play this game end to end. They don't want to take on dependency. So if you do that, I will come to you. Oh, Vivek, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with whatever you just said. In fact, in a recent interview, Jeffrey Hinton said the same thing. They were probably caught off guard. Nobody had anticipated large language models to become this successful. So, 10 years ago, had somebody said that we're going to have a language model that's going to perform some level of reasoning at probably at the non-expert level, nobody would have believed them. But suddenly OpenAI has captured the imagination of everybody, right? And then everybody's trying to play catch up now. And I don't think they had planned it this way. So they're trying to make amends right now, and which may not be working very well for Apple at the moment.
And just to be fair to Apple, Apple was never the most innovative company in AI or software. When I thought of software, I thought of Facebook, uh, Google, Microsoft. I never thought of Apple as like the most innovative software company. If I thought of hardware design, I thought of only Apple. Like nobody came even close. So, and that's what they continue to innovate on, and that's why they have missed a lot of like these things on software front, and they are okay with that. Like they are like, yeah, that's not the game I play. It's a strategy, right? and they don't want to miss on larger, bigger trends, but don't want to keep up on small ones. Okay, so you take OpenAI, how will you secure it? There are other things we saw around cleaning photo, organize. These are small things. Please read. But one thing, a special slide for product managers. If you take somebody else, make sure your customer says, ensure that their data is not getting used. That's their USP. They are the most secure hardware provider. That's how they have. That's what they are preaching for last 3 years. They don't have any more left in design, uh, innovation. Everything is copied or like distributed at this point. Samsung, Microsoft, Google all have their phones, and hardware wise they are not that far away, but they have said we are the most private one. Now if you are that and you start offering chat gpt, how can you hold your customer attention that you're still private? Three things I saw: only on device, your data will not be stored, only when you request your data will be sent to any third party or any provider, and we are opening everything for privacy reviews, that we will never store or use your information in any other way that we have already told you, which is to provide you these awesome experiences in AI. Make sure you have that kind of a slide if you're launching a product which is even against or little bit taking a different view of what you have preached before. Focus on that. That's what I liked or saw, and you will see it consistently. So as product managers, take that takeaway. Make sure you also don't store. Make sure you don't use. Make sure you can always audit, which is very hard to do. Like if you tried what they have said, this privacy verification promise, that's like, man, try doing it at Facebook. Like, try. So you try to play where your competition cannot play. It's so easy for you and so hard for your competition. That's where this whole verification game, and do expect them to run even advertisement campaign just for that, that we have a AI that you can verify. That is very hard for any of their competition, because uh, Microsoft doesn't play very well on enterprise, and the rest too can't do that. Does that make sense? Shyam, go ahead. I want to spend some time on the next topic because that's very dear or near to a lot of people, and I want to at least discuss, share more. But last question on this topic today. This was a
Yeah, I
good
was
discussion.
yeah, I'll be quick. So, does this also mean that they would be sort of building out their own data centers for data privacy? Because that's what Azure and Meta has been doing for a decade, right?
They already
So,
have that deal with the cloud providers, Sham. Means AWS and
okay.
others are like private cloud providers. They don't go to Azure, I believe. But they have that deal where they get the most private cluster on their cloud. They have strategically chosen not to play the cloud game either. So I don't think them changing that part, because there's nothing for them to be there. It's already very clouded. Four players. What can they
Yeah,
offer? They don't have that. Like, they are not an IT company. It's AWS and Microsoft as the IT company, and somebody who has similar offering is Google. But other than that, best of luck.
got it. And one more question, the choice of partnership. So, I mean, if you're running this on your mobile devices to enhance Gen AI capabilities, which is what Apple's bet is, like, won't they be looking at more smaller models, like small language models? So, do you think that would influence whom they partner with in the future?
Yeah. So I think taking a large model and then distilling it to a smaller model is like, that's what they are doing today. And they want to do it the best accurate model. And those models they
Okay,
have not one. I mean, they are already had those models, and they will continue to evolve those models to give their apps a better experience, and they will continue to own those models. But if you're trying to bring a human computer interface which adapts and respond in quick latency from cloud to device, that they have not done. And that's where I think this chat OpenAI new model comes in.
okay, thanks.
Awesome. Okay, switching gears, because Galia is here today, and I'm yet to get back to her. She pinged me and I forgot, so now she reminded me. But Galia is there, and who asked this question? Neeraj asked this question, or Last time, who got me here? And I just want to check if he's here. Or I am just iterating on his ideas for him. Okay, great idea last time. As a product manager, if you're trying to get into AI, it can be a little harder for you to get started and feel like you also have seat on table and you can start discussing a lot of things. So how can you build a AI project portfolio being a PM who's not working in AI? Huge challenge. I will share some tips, ideas that I have or I have done in past, and we can discuss, debate, and somebody can share their ideas too. But let's start with me because I wrote this slide. uh, one thing I want to tell you is that do not try to optimize the things that are already working. See what was impossible before and can be made possible, even with worst of the accuracy. That's okay. But that's the way I think the CTO of Microsoft said it, and I copied from him and kind of resonated. That's how I was thinking, but he said it more clearly. So Kevin Scott, uh, Garima can attest again, and Garima will not talk today again. So, but I think he said it, and I believe in it. So think about that, and you need not to think like out of box, like how can we go to Mars in 1 hour, but think about like simple things which you wanted to do. um, this is a funny one. Uh, Please do not start the cycle to learn. Most of you are not in that bucket because I see most of you have done my or some other course. So thank you, kudos to you. I think that's the right way to do it because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of ways you can slow yourself down. So take an accelerator, take any awesome course which is out there. One I know which is linked here. Of course, that's my course. I won't talk about it that much. But then, okay, I've taken the course. I know a lot. I have a community. What should I do next? What you are doing daily is a good idea to solve this problem. So your life is good, full of problems that were impossible before, and now you can make them possible. How about a $20 camera which can give you alerts if something happens in front of house? How about a notification which summarizes all my bills from my email and gives me a report of what I use, where my money is going, and based on that, gives me an optimized plan on where to spend my money. Uh, Based on how about an app which basically, or how about a scenario if I can, an app which basically monthly tells me how I spend my time. It looks at everything, all the calendars, or everything like my personal, my professional, and creates a quarterly report or monthly report of where my time is going or where my money is going, like a company, and say week on week we are here, week on week we are here, month on month we are here, and this is what your goals are, this is what you want to become, but this is what you're becoming. And then people can align, and having a report like that, I would love to read, and you can build it. All these are like low hanging fruits in the world you live in. So continue iterating on those ideas. That's the first project portfolio ideas I would love to iterate if I am you. The next is, if you're working for a company, if you already have a job, it's such an amazing time to have that kind of a job. Most of the companies are looking for people like you as product managers to come up with scenarios which can list down all the repetitive tasks that they do today with humans, are not scaling, or they are not even doing, because in past it just took too many people to go do. One example, a lot of startups start signing contracts, never read them, or never hire a lawyer to read them, take more liability in those contracts, and when they try to sell them, these companies, they have to give discounts up to 10 to 90 million dollars. Because they have taken such a liability, they would have get a better price than what is offered to them if they would have not signed this single clause of liability, which is causing now them to lose 10 to 90 million based on the deal size. 10% is what they lose generally. So how can they just have a tool which basically looks for these clauses and doesn't hire a lawyer, but at least look at them? That's one. If you're working for a startup, there are many things you are not just doing it because you can't hire people to do the due diligence. There was another idea, if companies are hiring or there was this vendor part defects idea. So what you can have is your Toyota, a lot of people supply you parts. In your contract, they have signed if they send you a defective contract, because the consequences of having a defect in the part on a pipeline on Toyota's manufacturing line is much higher than the cost of that part. So they have baked into that into their contract, but because it's business as usual after so long, nobody has faulted. Uh, if there are faults, nobody looks at who made the fault and make sure they charge them or get that money back in the next bill. Toyota forgets it. You can actually go there, propose it, and say, just give me 50% of what you are saving by making your vendors accountable for the mistakes they make. It was very hard for you to do before, now it is possible. And here is AI which will do it for you. It will look at everything on scale, and every time this data punches here, I can scale it, flag it, and automatically look at the contracts and start giving them tasks back. So then, if you're looking for jobs or you're not have a job, then choose a domain. Like if you have expertise in any domain, whether it is uh, telecom, healthcare, finance, government, whatever your area of domain is, look at that domain and see what are the startups innovating on. Copy them, create a basic version of that product for yourself. See if your friends can buy that from you, rather than shipping it or seeing like where they are failing, or even like what they are doing. If you start offering it, you can start offering it to the customers. You can play the price game, but while you do that, you're building a project and also having an aspirations to build a company. So that's the last one. And once you have that, you can look at industry specific hackathons or places where you can go and iterate on ideas. I put some hackathons, those are still open. There's a law hackathon coming to Stanford in September. Metas is going on. AWS has this one for startups, and there are always something out there. So join them, but bring your domain expertise, because that's what the currency you have. And there are a lot of engineers out there who are looking for nails. So go with your nail box, your domain problems, and bring them very crystal, like what needs to be done, how AI can solve it, how will we evaluate it. If you can bring that insights, I think you should be able to build this portfolio. If you don't are not able to come up with ideas, here are some links. There are a lot of people who fund these companies and are happily sharing their ideas and asking people like to build on those. This is the list YC published of things they want to fund. And explainable AI is there. AI to build enterprise software is there. A way to eliminate back office was there. Foundation models for biological system is there. Stable coin, new space, applying machine learning for robotics. So this is like where the world would be. Like these are smart people putting out these smart things. So you can choose from these ideas or these domains at least, and start going from there and iterate and at least start there. So these are like easy to hard to easy to complex your journey of building projects. I will just start solving for myself, because I have all my data, I have access to my data. I can just build it for myself and learn all the things that we have discussed here in this community or discussed in our courses. So start there. And if you have challenges, I'm here. That's all I need to talk about. But wish to hear anybody who has better ideas, or any ideas I have not covered, what you have used, what you worked for you. Floor is yours. I'm part of Build Club, Building AI Product Group. Look them up on LinkedIn, participating in Ventureathon, helping AI startup voluntarily, also give exposures. Yeah, go for pro bonus, right? That I didn't cover. Offer yourself for free resource, but understand the domain, right? Bring that domain, bring it to them that, hey, I saw your company doing this. I have this expertise in this domain. I have this adjacent idea that you're not looking at. Here is what I could offer. Here is an eval I created. Here is an experiment I have done. Tell your stories. Don't look for pro bono just for looking pro bonos. Find what would excite them and do the homework. Build your PRD before you show up, and then keep selling it. Like either you're selling it to investors. I would also go one step more, Chitali. I will just go and start like a company of my own if you can, right? Rather than volunteering for these, it takes $500 to build a company. Once you build a
I
company,
tried. I
so
tried. I went to the Ventureathon, almost about to get startup, build this startup from Berlin. And in the final round, there was some disagreement with my partner, and funding got stuck. Even if I have a successful MVP.
that's okay,
And
Chitali. Like, don't stop there, right? It's really easy for you from there to do three things. One is cloud providers are giving you free credits. If you have registered a company, you can get up to 350K from Google, 100K from Microsoft, and maybe 5K from AWS. So that's the only thing where most of your money should go, and that is coming for free. If you have a registered company, that's all is needed. Once you have it, you can turn around and hire college graduates as dirt cheap rate. And there is not complex software here. There are a lot of samples we have in our cohort. You can start from those, or we have other things like out there. I'm happy to help. uh, Build your first MVP, start selling it to customers even for free, right? What's the problem with that? You will learn every day, you will iterate on it. You have built a project portfolio. Maybe you will not build a company, but you have like not project, it's a, like a company. It's a much better stories, it's much better understanding, and it's a much better launching pod pad for anyone. And eventually you're trying to make these decisions and make yourself successful, right? So I would continue on that.
great,
Harsha.
thanks a lot.
I just want to add something which may be of use, interest to a few people. The US federal government has initiatives for people to participate in initiatives. I wouldn't call it hackathons, but in initiatives in building this thing. They have something called United States Digital Service, which I'm part of, which is very similar to the Teach for America Peace Corps. So you actually get paid something if you get on board and work on real problems. It could lead to a very credible, portfolio experience. And some of them are not some of them, a lot of them are the application of AI for, real life situations. So I think that is also a worthwhile avenue to consider. There is Tech2Gov, there is United States Digital Service, and there is also something called challenge.gov, which I think it really comes to the like the hackathon thing. So might be worthwhile to check it out if it sounds interesting. Just wanted to add that.
Harsha, can I request you to do us one favor? I just got an idea. So I think we should start a channel on our Slack, which is called Projects. And on that channel, maybe we keep an active link to a document where we can say hackathons going right now, and static opportunities and links. I will put some, Harsha, you put some, and please, community members, if you find something, put there. So anybody who joins the community, they want to start a project, they need not to look for it. They know already here are a few things. And then me and Shilan will
So,
go and also talk to
Mahesh,
startups.
we already have channel. We just needed to like start populating it. So Harsha reach out to me. We'll work on that together.
Mhm.
Thank you. Right.
Sounds like a plan. Awesome then. That's all I had. We are 11:58. Anything
And
else anybody wants to add?
I have.
Go ahead.
I think 2 minutes as usual. So thank you so much, Hamesh, for sharing all these tips. And I just want to say, some of our cohort members have already used some of the tips. I guide one of them through the interview. I wouldn't say like who's the name, but I think focusing on your domain and first step knowing who you are very important, because these days on the job market is extremely domain specific, and it's also specific and on what is your AI expertise. So with that, I'll stop here. And sorry, one more announcement is like, please follow our LinkedIn community page because we have some exciting news coming. I mean, we love to drop it to you all, but like the page is there for some reason. So follow it, so that's the way we can keep everybody informed about exciting things coming. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And all this time I realized I never shared my screen, so I think you all follow along. So thank you. I think this is going great. We are going continuously increasing. We're starting a new cohort. Please tell your friends. Also, if not cohort, bring them to the here. We love to have more people and ideas. The more of us, we have better ideas. We saw in case of Apple. Today we had such a depth in discussion. That's the goal. With that goal, and with that said, I will see you next Saturday, right? Till then, bye. Take care. See ya.